reality. Here in Oman, guided by Vision 2040, we are building a strong digital economy that empowers citizens, businesses, and government institutions. Collaboration between the public and private sectors is driving progress in digital trade, e-services, and smart infrastructure. This forum is an opportunity to accelerate that journey. It is a platform to share knowledge, exchange best practices, and form new partnerships that will help shape the region's digital future. I encourage you to engage, connect, and make the most of the discussions ahead. Because transformation is not only about technology, it is about people, it is about culture, and the courage to embrace change. Once again, welcome to the Digital Transformation Forum at COMEX Summit 2025. I wish you all an inspiring and productive day. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, and a beautiful good afternoon to everyone. We would like to now commence with the forum. We now welcome Ali Al-Lemki, Digital and IT Director at PDO, to present PDO's digital transformation journey, showing how data and intelligence systems drives efficiency and sustainability. Thank you, Ali.
Assalamu alaikum, good afternoon. Every great transformation starts with a spark, a vision that dares to reimagine the future. And at Petroleum Development Oman, that spark is our realization that digital transformation is fundamental for our continued success at PDO. It is not merely adopting new technologies, but about reshaping how we work, how we think, and how we deliver value for our people, our partners, and for Oman. Oman Vision 2040 is a digital-first future. It sets a bold direction for the Sultanate, one that embraces innovation, sustainability, economic diversification. At the heart of this vision lies digital transformation. It is the engine that will power smarter cities, more efficient industries, and a more resilient economy. As the nation's leading company, PDO is proud. At the forefront of this movement is where we are. We are not just responding to the change, we are helping to shape it. Our digital journey is aligned with Oman's national priorities, and we are committed to be pioneers in this area and in capabilities that will define the energy sector of tomorrow. So why does digital transformation matter in the oil and gas industry? The energy landscape, as you see here, is evolving rapidly. Global demand is for cleaner, more efficient, and more reliable energy. At the same time, oil and gas industry faces increasing pressure to optimize operations, reduce emissions, and improve safety, all the while navigating volatile markets and aging infrastructure. In this context, our digital transformation journey is not optional, it's essential. Technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, cloud computing, these are no longer just futuristic concepts. They are practical tools that enable us to make faster decisions, reduce human exposure, and unlock new levels of efficiency and value. So what is PDO's digital vision? Our journey began by listening to our people, to our partners, and to the challenges that we faced. Through interviews, workshops, strategic foresights, we identify several disruptive technologies. And these are most relevant to PDO's business and the oil and gas industry at large. For example, applied and generative artificial intelligence, cloud computing, advanced connectivity, and others. These trends form the foundation of our refreshed digital purpose, which you see here, to maximize value for Oman by empowering all decisions across all value streams in the company, with digital intelligence. This is not about incremental change. It is about reimagining how we operate, with control centers managing operations in the field, with robots and drones performing inspections, with blockchain securing our supply chain, and with AI optimizing production in real time. At this moment, if you haven't seen the PDO booth around the corner, I would encourage you to pay a visit, and you'll see some of these technologies on display, as well as the team available. Some of them are also here, who can take you through these technologies and how we use them in PDO. It's a new way of working. To bring this vision to life, we are adopting a new operating model, one inspired by the world's leading digital companies. The product and platform model empowers cross-functional teams to own outcomes, to innovate continuously, and to deliver value at speed. While this model is well established in digital companies and in finance, like Amazon, Apple, PayPal, Airbnb, it is still emerging in the oil and gas industry. Pioneers like OMV in Austria and others are showing what's possible. And at PDO, we've learned and we're learning from these examples and tailoring the model to our unique context. So these initiatives demonstrate how platform thinking can enhance collaboration, agility, and innovation. So what are our enablers to build the foundations for success? Transformation requires more than just technology. It demands a holistic approach. So at PDO, we are focusing on 5 strategic enablers. Number 1, ways of working, specifically agile ways of working that empowers teams to move fast and flexibly. Talent development, building digital capabilities across not just the IT and digital directorate, but across the company, from engineering to directors such as myself and executives. Governance and performance, business-focused, value-centric, clear accountability driven by data, and continuously improving based on experience quarter to quarter. Number 4, technology landscape, specifically platforms, scalable, secure, digital infrastructure. Updated organizational setup. So as we speak, we're reorganizing the directorate, of which I'm leading, as a first phase. And the key focus is on coupling business with the Digital Center of Excellence for Innovation and Execution. Phase 2 then will roll out to the rest of PDO, all 9,000 staff and additional contractors and our partners, I should say. These enablers address long-standing challenges, from slow delivery and duplicated efforts to limited scalability and capability gaps. These are levers that will unlock business value and accelerate our journey. So how do we plan to turn this vision into reality? So you might have seen already some of the flagship programs that we are delivering already. You might have seen it in the news. You might have seen it at our booths. I'll mention it here again. Digital twins, number 1. Virtual replicas of our physical assets, our facilities in the field, monitoring performance real time and optimizing by engineers here in Muscat. Predictive maintenance, AI-powered insights to prevent failures and reduce downtime, thus increasing production and reducing cost. Wells artificial intelligence, which we call tansiq. These are intelligent algorithms for optimal well placement and field development. Generative AI, what we call Adam, is a generative AI platform, basically Mu'in or a ChatGPT, but for PDO with our standards, our documents, and our files. Instant access to information from when you enter day 1 in the company. Robotic process automation, though more basic, still very, very critical, automating routine tasks to free up human potential. These initiatives aren't isolated examples, but these are representative of a cohesive strategy that defines our future in PDO as part of an overall company transformation. A future-ready PDO. As we look ahead, our ambition is clear: to lead Oman's energy sector into the digital age with confidence and with purpose. We are building a PDO that is more efficient, more resilient, more innovative, more inclusive, and future-ready. This is more than just a transformation, it is a movement bringing together people, technology, and purpose into one cohesive framework to propel our future forward. Our journey of transformation is not a one-time initiative, but a continuous evolution. We're continuously learning, continuously improving. Digital and AI are not just tools, they are key enablers that empower us to rethink our operations, enhance our safety, and unlock new sources of value. From predictive analytics, as I just mentioned, to autonomous operations, we're enabling intelligence into every layer of our business. This journey is deeply aligned with Oman Vision 2040 and the National Digital Strategy. We're contributing to a smarter, more connected Oman, one that leverages innovation to drive economic growth, environmental sustainability, and social progress. And at PDO, we are committed to being a catalyst for this transformation. We are investing in talent, infrastructure, and partnership to ensure our digital journey delivers lasting impact for Oman, and not just for Oman, potentially impacting the region as well. Shukran. Feel free. There might be a microphone also going around. If everything's clear, we look forward to seeing you in our booth. Shukran, Jama'a. Ahsantum.
Such a remarkable presentation. Thank you, Dr. Ali. Shukran lak. Thank you for sharing how PDO is leading with innovation and sustainability. Now, following up for the next, please welcome Ruslan Zadinov, Head of Cloud and Data at Desert Spark, to explore how data fuels AI excellence and what modern, scalable, and reliable data architectures require. Thank you, and please welcome Ruslan.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction.
Sorry, my hand is...
Yeah, that's okay. I just need a clicker.
Sure.
Well, good afternoon. Well, thanks very much for having me here. By a happy coincidence, Mr. Ali started his presentation by saying that everything starts with a spark. So it so happens that I represent a company that's called Desert Spark. So hopefully some of the things we'll share today will be a spark for some of you to start a transformational journey, whether it's for data or for AI or for data and AI together. I've been browsing through the booths here today, and obviously there's just one buzzword that everybody's using today, which is obviously AI. And I need to say that as a company, we are a service provider. As a company, our experience with AI has been very practical, and therefore we have identified certain barriers that many of our customers face. And today I would like to share those barriers and how to overcome them in our experience, in our opinion. So perhaps that should be valuable to all of us. So obviously AI is everywhere, and your kids are doing their homework with AI today, even if you don't know about this. My kids do that, and I just found out that my son bought a subscription to ChatGPT to do his university tasks. And I've been wondering why. And he said, you know, Dad, this is not because I'm lazy, but this is because it saves me a lot of time to be productive elsewhere. So, and he's absolutely right. He's got a point. So, AI is being completely transformational, but it so happens that the companies do have difficulties embracing AI in their businesses. So what are these barriers? We've discovered two. I mean, there are many, but there are two major ones. One is all about data. The poorer the data set you have, the worse is your project in the AI area, because you've got to have data to feed to AI. Whether it's predictive AI or generative AI, doesn't matter. It depends on the area of application, but if you have poor data, your project or pilot will most probably fail. And the other is, I'd say, social, because it's all about reinventing your processes to use AI, because our experience shows that if you simply use some sort of AI and insert it into an existing business process, you will be more efficient, yes, but just to this extent, just this much. If you really want to be super efficient with AI, you need to reinvent your business, in a way. So I'll try to illustrate that. We've had a huge AI transformation project in a nationwide transportation company. They carry everything from oil to furniture. It's a big business, multi-million-dollar business. So we made a deep dive with them to see whether their processes and IT systems and their data sets are ready to transform the company to AI. And these are our findings. So where you see a check mark, this check mark is saying that this process seems to be a number one, priority one for AI application, just because we think, our experience shows that efficiency will be there. I mean, 10%, 20% more efficient business process. But as you can see, the processes are not yet ready, because you need to redo them in a way, transform them in a way first. The supporting IT systems, in their own turn, are not yet ready. And the data is somewhat ready. But this is just the first slide. We had like 10 slides with such lists for them. And this is the second one. Oh, the clicker stuff. Another set of processes. Data is not ready completely. So it's either not available, low quality, not gathered in real time, is not conditioned properly, because you need to transform and validate and normalize your data before you use it for any AI application. And the world's experience is exactly the same. This is a chart from a McKinsey research, a very recent McKinsey research, where people have been voting for areas that where they see most problems when they do, well, in this case, generative AI applications, not predictive AI, but anyway. And all of these, the top ones, are all data related. And this is saying something. This is saying something. You need to reinvent your business processes, but you also need to make sure the data sets are there. It's a very basic fact. I know sharing from the stage might look trivial, but just don't make that mistake, okay? If you go for AI, make sure you go for your data first. That's very simple. So, you know, the industry has been transferring from a relatively straightforward predictive AI to generative AI during the past few years, which is all very well explained. There is an explanation behind this. But we have to mind that generative AI doubles down on data quality. Not because generative AI is special, but simply because for generative AI to be efficiently applied in your business, you need to involve the data sets that are not structured. You need to have, you need to process text, audio, video, okay, and all sorts of other data types that cannot be represented in terms of relational databases. So it's not a structured data set anymore. Again, if you look at the same McKinsey research I've been talking about a few slides before, and look at another area of problems that the people have identified, you'll see that that area of problems is also data related. Is the HR problem. People just don't have enough specialists, enough expertise on the market to consolidate to do AI-related projects. And if you look at this chart, to the right-hand side, you see that people said that there are more than 50% difficulty in hiring the appropriate type of personnel. And if you look at the place where this chart actually crosses the 50% border, those are the bottom things, you'll see that these roles are also data related. So it is extremely hard to obtain data related expertise on the HR market these days. And that's a problem. So what's our message? What's our solution? If there is any solution to that at all. Well, first and foremost, the data processing must evolve. If just a few years ago, the task was to collect data, nowadays it is to process data in real time, because you need to collect, validate, transform, normalize, store, and present the data for AI algorithms to work in real time. All this should happen in real time. Just to give you a number, we've had a project with an automotive manufacturer. It's a huge one. They make commercial vehicles. And they were thinking of inventing AI-based services for their customers to optimize their cost so that they would be more motivated to buy their vehicles, of course. To that end, they installed a computer on board, and that would transfer a lot of so-called telematics data over to their data center. So currently, we have about 200,000 vehicles connected, 200,000 vehicles. And all in all, they generate 40,000 messages per second. 40,000 per second. They're small, just a few kilobytes in size, but that's per second, and that's 24/7. And they have been able to invent new AI-based services for their customers, starting from simple things like optimizing tire replacement costs for those customers that use their vehicles in the right way, that don't overload them, that keep the pressure in the normal range, and et cetera, and et cetera. Simple things, but they're very cost efficient. So, and of course, data governance must be there in place. It's a very painful process, how you manage your data, how you protect your data, how you condition your data, but it's got to be in place. It might be a separate project. For some people, it might sound like a separate project, but data governance is a huge pain point at this point of creating real-time, scalable data processing pipelines. Just have to be aware of this. So, how do we make it practical? Where to focus? Well, again, this is their experience, and also it follows from the McKinsey research that addresses a much wider market. There are just a few areas where you can obtain very fast and very tangible, but still sizable results if you implement the data processing pipeline and the AI solution on top of this. And they are all data-centric. One is the supply chain management. It might sound very, very too much in disguise, a little bit too much in disguise, but I'll tell you the essence behind it. So what we see in their customers is that when they procure things, the problem is in the management of master data. Because let's say you're a huge organization and you have many departments and everybody's procuring something. So what do people do? They enter what they want to buy in the system. And at this point, your master data becomes a mess because different people call the same thing in a different way. What do you need to do about this? There is an obvious solution. Force your people to do it right. But it doesn't work, of course. You can't force people to do what is right. People will do what they think is right and what is faster and what is more convenient. But there are AI tools today to identify the issue and to make sure you don't oversupply. So once you manage your procurement master data correctly with AI tools, you solve your oversupply problem, and that brings, well, you tell for yourself how many % of efficiency it brings. So, and MRO, service operations, and also corporate finance. I'll just give you 2 examples before I cover my speech. One is from an very well-known oil and gas company, Petrobras in Brazil. They have been facing a huge problem with their maintenance and repair operations because people have become a bottleneck. Okay, engineers are very professional. I'm sure you all are employing very professional people, no doubt about that. But the amount of issues they have to deal with every day can be overwhelming. And even if they are very accurate and they follow up in a detailed way, they write everything down and make sure they escalate the problem to the procurement department to buy the necessary spare parts and schedule the replacement and et cetera, they do everything perfectly according to the book. It's just too much. And the problem will overwhelm them. So if you organize those teams with Gen AI, if you connect that with predictive maintenance, if you do order your spare parts in advance, well in advance, based on the predictive maintenance prompts, then you solve the problem. And that's what Petrobras has done. And another example is, again, from an oil and gas area. We have other examples as well, but still. It's Repsol, that's a Spanish oil and gas giant. They have implemented generative AI for their operational efficiencies in terms of corporate planning and resource management. It has been a great success, and I must tell you that both projects have forced the customer to reinvent their processes from scratch, and to build the necessary AI infrastructure inside the company. Because for cybersecurity reasons, they couldn't use the cloud services, and well, they had to build this inside. We're doing it right now. It's for some of our customers, building the generative AI solutions based on their local infrastructure inside. But it must be mentioned that this is the last thing you have to think about, because that infrastructure has to be built around the requirements that naturally follow from the generative AI solution that you'll be implementing, which in turn depends on how you reinvent your business processes. So it still starts with your data and your business processes, and then you come down to the infrastructure. We are here. We are based in Oman. We're called Desert Spark. We would like to welcome you to our booth to schedule a workshop on how generative AI, or predictive AI, by the way, we don't limit ourselves with generative AI, can be used efficiently in your business, tailored to your needs, and with a proof. So we will find together with you what is the area where you have to focus first. And that's the value we would like to bring to you. Thank you very much. And I must say, this is my first time personally in Oman. This is a very hospitable country. Thank you very much. Thank you. So I don't know. I'm open for questions. Did I overrun? No? Yes, please, Mr. Ahmed. Not me personally. I mean the company. Yeah.
And do you have partnerships with other companies?
We do have a local partner as well. Yes.
It's good if we...
Let's let's keep in touch. Yeah. I'll come to you. No? Thank you. Yes, there's a question over here.
Yes, with respect to SMEs,
Yes.
do you think that the cost of entry is going to be less compared to how it used to be for SMEs and AI utilization?
Do you want the marketing answer or an honest answer?
Honest answer.
Okay.
Please.
The thing is, and this is very serious what you ask, by the way. What we see is that AI, and especially generative AI, which requires a very costly infrastructure, is a new and very unfortunate factor of dividing the market. And we see that the companies that can afford going into a generative AI story will quickly outperform those who can't. And those who can't are the SMEs. SMEs can count on cloud services in that regard, and that somehow solves the problem, but not completely. So there is a danger, especially on larger and very well-developed markets, there is a danger of certain monopolization in that regard. So your concern is absolutely correct in our opinion, but whether we know a solution or not, it is more like a we don't.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ruslan.
Yes, please.
Good afternoon to you. My question is, there are some people from this and that we hear from them that they cannot trust AI. They say AI gets information from us, and some people who we don't know can use those information or abuse or misuse those information. How can we assure people about their security using AI? Thank you.
Well, thank you, by the way, thank you for that question, because it naturally follows from our host has just asked. The thing is, if you look into the service agreements of the largest LLM providers, I won't name them just to have no accountability, obviously. But if you look at that, what they basically say is that give us your data, we'll give you the insights, but effectively you do surrender your data to us, period. And that's a problem. It's a huge privacy problem for smaller companies, because the larger ones will go for a private implementation of generative AI, and that's what we see happening all the time. So I think what the smaller companies could do, and this is just an idea, I've never seen it implemented, but if they could form larger groups, maybe associations of those who could trust among themselves at least, that would be a solution. Probably a little bit of a compromise, but still a solution, rather than completely surrendering your data to hyperscale generative AI providers. But other than that, I don't see any solution. I have a friend, actually. They own a company, and one of the partners acts as a CFO. And I've been chatting about Gen AI recently, and he said, you know what, I found it very productive. I say, in what way? And he said, you know, I've been feeding a lot of financial Excel sheets to ChatGPT recently, and I found a lot about our company. I said, you know what? Also, ChatGPT learned a lot about your company recently, whether you like it or not. And he said, oh, okay. I think we're in the very early stages of that industry trend. I hope it survives as a trend, because I think AI, and especially Gen AI, is the way forward for all of us. It doesn't exclude natural intelligence, by the way. And I do hope that in a couple of years we'll come to COMEX again, and we will see booths saying not AI ready, but NI involving, meaning involving natural intelligence. But there will be solutions appearing in that regard as well, I think.
There is another question, sir. How do you foresee the future of AI? Because some people say it will dominate our intelligence and it would pose some dangers to human beings.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
We haven't agreed on the question, so no way. So let me do it a bit interactive, if you allow me. So honestly, please raise your hand if you know the math behind AI. So if you really know the internals of AI. Who knows the 1, 2? You can raise 2 hands if you want to. Okay, 2. Thank you. So the thing is, I know we have different backgrounds, and some people are lawyers and others are mathematicians by education. So obviously there is a huge gap between them. But we've got to realize what AI is. AI, in essence, is relatively simple. There is a mathematical theorem. You can look it up on Wikipedia. Whether you trust Wikipedia or not is out of discussion. But still, it has been proven that what we call these days a neural network, artificial neural network, is nothing more or less than a mathematical model of any physical system whatsoever. And whether you can really simulate any system only depends on the amount of parameters, on the size of this network. That's it. Yeah, and I have to stop. So it will. The answer is yes. It will help us if we use it right. If we replace natural intelligence, we use it wrong. That's it. Okay, thank you very much. Look, they will throw me out from stage.
Thank you, Ruslan, for those powerful insights into the role of data in driving AI success. Now, before we move forward, we'd like to kindly notify you that if anyone requires translation services, there's a table allocated by the exit at the back of the hall, which provide you with devices that translate from English to Arabic. We move now to a fireside chat. Digital Pathways for Energy Transformation Towards a Sustainable Future, featuring Joseph Alencheri, Senior Vice President and Business Head at Infosys, in addition to Mariam El-Shaybani, VP of Digital Integrated Solutions at OQ. Please let's give them a warm welcome to the stage.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for filling this room. My name is Joseph Alencheri. I represent Infosys. We are a technology services company, pretty big one at that, about 340,000 people globally. But the interesting metric is in the world of energy. We are the second largest technology services provider in the energy industry, and we work with pretty much all the global majors, and I head that segment. But I'm really proud and happy to have with me here on stage Mariam El-Shaybani. She's the VP and Head of Digital Solutions for OQ. Very interesting role. Over the years, Mariam has undertaken a number of very large initiatives, including a big SAP transformation, and she's actually survived that. And today, she's playing a very pivotal role in OQ's transformation. But Mariam, my first question is around yourself. Can you tell us a little bit about your background? How did you reach where you are today?
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. and thank you for hosting me today. Thank you for the question. I'm Mariam Al-Shaybani. I work in OQ. I actually graduated and started my career in OQ. Background, electrical engineering. Then I did master's in business, MBA. I worked all my life in projects. So I started as a project engineer, and then that was my foundation going forward. I did many roles in OQ, so project engineer. Then I went into many change programs. As you know, OQ has gone through so many transformations, so I witnessed OQ from MAF refinery, and I was part of Program Apple that created ORPIC at that time. Then I was part of Program Nakhla that created OQ, the one you know today. At some point, I was corporate planning director, as well as now my recent role is the VP of Integrated Digital Solution. Other than that, I'm a daughter, a wife, Omani citizen, and a mother. And I'm very proud to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mariam. It's a handful of profiles combined together there, on both on the personal front and the professional front. So, Mariam, digital solutions leader at OQ. What does that really mean? What do you do? And what's OQ going through in that space?
Now, that's a very deep question. Okay, what do I do? It all started when OQ was created. When OQ was created, we actually brought in 9 companies together. And bringing 9 companies in together means that we are going to operate as a central company. Then pandemic hit, and then we changed our operating model. But by then, we have integrated almost all our IT solutions. Because at that time, we wanted everybody to be working in the same platform, having the same processes. So we had operated in one ERP system. We have integrated all the data centers into one. And then we continued in that. And we have a strategic sourcing methodology where we actually benefit from the scale of the group we benefit of the economic of scale to better purchase applications. So basically, that's what I manage today. IT, Integrated Digital Solutions at OQ, is managed centrally, sure. And that is my role.
Excellent. Mariam, integrating into kind of one organization, must have been a big challenge. And I think we once discussed the concept of a digital factory that you introduced. We'd like to hear more about that. Yeah.
So when we started, we knew that we won't be able to operate the way we used to operate in the past. And when I say operate in the way we operate in the past is as follows. We know that the digital transformation is moving at a very fast pace. So operating in your old manners and old ways does not work. And the reason is, for example, I'll give you, and those who are technical, they will understand. We used to be under the mercy of, vendors. If the vendor is good, or can build good relationships, you get your solutions uploaded. Then we are a state-owned company, so procurement takes a long time. By the time you actually get your solution, you do your POV, you already wasted a year, and then you have to tender again for the implementation. That's another year. 2 years in an era of digital transformation is too long. So we had to come up with a new concept, and this is where we were searching. And then we came across the concept of digital factory. Digital factory is nothing but an end-to-end solution. How do you procure faster? How do you analyze faster? And you use an agile methodology in doing that. It allows you to fail and learn from your mistakes and then get up, rather than holding into your solutions when you know that they don't work. And hence, and we couldn't do this alone. We had to partner. We had a very strong partner that was able to bring us solutions in place faster. We needed people, skills to be in place faster. And most importantly, what we needed at that time is the mindset. So the leadership was also with us.
Sure.
We started this journey in 2023, and in that particular year, we have identified around 170 pain points, and we prioritized them, and then in that particular year, I was able to deliver 5 POVs in 1 year successfully, and now we are actually in the scale-up program.
It's a very interesting concept. I love this concept of digital factory, Mariam. It seems like it's really accelerating what you're trying to do. Infosys, we work with a large European major. Actually, it's in the public with BP. And for BP, we are the sole partner for their entire IT estate. So it's a huge responsibility. And what we did for BP is we developed a capability center for them with an AI garage in London. So it's partly in London and partly in India. And this capability center has got what we call as COEs for each area, for trading and shipping, for refining, for marketing, upstream, and production operations is what we call it now. And each of these centers has got elements of what you're talking about. Not exactly what we call as digital factory, but they all have reusable components and platforms built, which BP can use to generate output at a faster pace. So it's been a big success story. In fact, it's a case study that's been published. In fact, right now we are working with a very large, maybe the largest energy company in the United States in the similar front to build what we call as a capability center dedicated for them. So if any of you ever come to India, Bangalore, I'd love to host you and show you what we're doing with these large energy majors. But Mariam, you also did cloud work, and I think it was kind of pioneering in this country, in kind of line with Oman's 2040 vision. Can you tell us about what you did with cloud?
So we knew that the future is in cloud. The first thing we did is to get our cloud strategy approved by the board. And that was our first step. We got the cloud strategy approved by the board, but we all know that we are facing some challenges in Oman about data sovereignty and the availability of hyperscalers. So to overcome that, we had to do a lot of stakeholder management, as well as cleaning our own data.
Sure.
We had to reclassify what is sensitive and what is critical and what is not sensitive. So in OQ, we have that classification done.
Sure.
We work very closely with CDC to actually host our applications and appropriately in the cloud without breaching any sensitive data. The other thing that we've done is we actually work closely with the partners, and we are trying, with the scale that we have, to bring the data centers or the cloud computing in Oman. This is exactly what we've done with SAP. So we wanted the RISE, S4HANA RISE, but we want also the cloud. And with the magnitude and the size we have at OQ, we were able to convince SAP to invest in a local private cloud in Oman. So it's all these three things to happen together. You need a good partner, you need the right mindset in the company, but also you need to do a lot of reclassification and cleaning of your own data in-house.
Sure. No, it's great. In fact, Mariam, I remember, Microsoft was the primary technology that you bet on.
Right.
At Infosys, we have created a number of, what we call as agentic AI based, solutions on Microsoft Cloud. In fact, yesterday we launched a Microsoft Cloud-based agentic AI solution for drilling. It really aids a driller, a plant engineer, a drilling engineer supervisor to look at, plethora of reports, well logs, etc., and works as a co-pilot for a driller. So that's going to be used hopefully by some of the energy companies here in Oman. It's already being used by the largest oil field service company in Saudi Arabia. So it was launched yesterday. But that brings me to this big question, the elephant in the room, AI. Now, what's OQ doing with AI?
We've launched a program called HALA this year, actually. HALA means, in English, is aura, HALA. It's like AI.
Halo.
It's there. You feel its presence, but you don't see it, and you need to deal with it. And HALA program actually is all about shifting that responsibility to the people. We know for a fact that everybody is using AI today, so you can't really fight it. Everybody has their AI in their phones. You're going to use it, but how do you use it responsibly? And what we want to do in OQ is that to bring the frontliners to speak about it and be rewarded for it, rather than the push from the IT guys. Because we've realized after 2 years that you can actually put a solution and then the deployment rate becomes very low. So here's the shift that we are working right now, is how to actually make people champion AI. So HALA is the program. In addition, up to now, we've been relying so much on the vendors and our contractors to help us build agentic AIs, to help us build the AI solution. This year, in fact, there's a big shift in OQ. Sure. This year, we are training our people to build their own AI agents. Now, building AI models are very easy compared to how it was in the past.
Course, yeah.
So that's a shift we are doing. And actually, there's 10 people are going to a secondment program in 2 weeks' time. And they're tasked to come back with an agentic AI. And I'm very excited to see how that will turn out.
Fantastic, Mariam. I mean, in fact, AI is a theme that we are hearing from every client that we are talking to as well. So it's great to know that. Hopefully, we can see some definite results in the next 12 months. Yeah. Talking about AI, I'd like to introduce this concept of the 3 vectors that we talk about in Infosys. For example, we are trying to do AI across 3 things for our clients. First is, when you look at our own services, the technology services, there's a lot of applicability of AI there. Can we code faster, cheaper, and better? Can we create a network operating center which is unmanned? And we are working with a very large European major right now to reduce manual effort by 85% from 43 people looking at their network operating center to something like 3 or 4 people, and the rest done by an agentic AI framework. That's an example of infrastructure management. And the same thing for support and maintenance, the same thing for ticketing. So AI can really be applied in technology services itself, eating our own dog food. But then there's the other aspect of AI for what we call as business process management. You have functions like finance, procurement, HR. How can really AI be used to make that faster and cheaper, less manual effort? And we are working on many use cases like that. In fact, right here in the Emirates, we are working for a large retailer where we are looking at how AI can automate their whole procure-to-cash process. So they don't need folks to really cut checks and look at the whole procurement aspect. It's all automated. Now, the third vector is the most exciting one. It's the business value chain. And if you take an energy company, let's say PDO, everything from exploration to well planning to production to actual refining and marketing to trading, all of that can be reimagined and rethought of with AI. And that's the most exciting vector. And in that respect, we are working on many use cases for our clients. I talked about the Drilling AI Copilot. We are developing a subsurface AI platform built on agentic framework, which can really be used as a co-pilot for any subsurface work, evaluation, reservoir modeling, etc. And that's, that extends to trading and shipping and everything else. So I think the third vector is most important, and I'm sure in due time within OQ, you will find many such refining and downstream related use cases being implemented, at scale. So if you can imagine these 3 vectors in OQ, that's a great way to look at it.
Right. I don't imagine it, I see it.
In front of you, right?
In OQ now, you can come
Yes,
and see
yes.
it. So in that sense, to just build on what you've said, today I've read Gartner has published that by 2027, 40% of the energy sector and utility control rooms will be running in AI.
Of course, yeah.
This is only 2 years' time, so you can imagine the shift that's going to happen in our operating in our environment. In OQ, we are using AI video analytics. It has reshaped the HSC.
Yeah.
Today, our HSC folks do not operate the way they used to operate 3 years back. Because all of a sudden, with AI video analytics tools in place, they are showered with data.
Of course, yeah.
And they have to start analyzing rather than auditing and monitoring.
Sure.
The digital twin that we've implemented in Block 60 today gave us, shifted the way we operate from reactive to predictive. Now we are running scenarios and running simulations on how to operate better.
Sure.
We've got an AI-powered tool for pricing analytics. This helps us to predict the margins. You know, we are operating in a very low margin industry, in a very volatile environment where every little helps. The efficiency is big. So pricing analytics is a very important tool that we're actually using. In fact, the conditions around our industry is forcing us towards more efficiency, and that's enabling us to adopt more and more AI.
Of course, yeah.
But then comes the responsible part, because how much do you want to send? How much do you want to, share? So that's the balance that you need to be working on.
Very exciting, Miriam. In the interest of time, I'm going to just ask one last question. They say the battle is between the mind and the mindset, To do all of these changes you're talking about, there's got to be some kind of mindset change in your employee base. So what is your reaction to that?
See, I always believe that AI and digital transformation is not a technical transformation. It's just a mindset shift. And I always bring this example of Apple. When they, back in 2000, gave you the smartphone, they did not even consult you. They just gave you the tool. And slowly we started adapting to it. It is actually happening today. Yeah. We are adapting, but the issue is that it is happening in a very fast pace, that we are not able to change our processes at the same pace, our the way of working to the same pace. But it's happening.
Well, thank you, Miriam. I think we have run out of time. I think you can catch Miriam for questions after the session off stage. But thank you all for listening to us, and thank you once again.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Joseph Allentree and Miriam Shibani, for inspiring dialogue on digital transformation and how AI is redefining the space. So we continue with our panel discussion. It's time for our first panel discussion. The future of connectivity and smart infrastructures, 5G and beyond, AI-driven networks, smart cities, and sustainable infrastructure. We welcome our moderator, Sultan Al-Waddahi from Royal Court Affairs.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good evening, everybody. It's an honor to welcome you at this panel on the future of connectivity and smart infrastructure here at COMEX 2025 as Oman accelerates towards Oman Vision 2040. We are witnessing a lot of transformation, not only in a technology, but even in how we live and connect as a people. So I would like to welcome our guest panelists in this panel discussion, and we have a very short time. It's half an hour. We barely could cover this topic, inshallah. So please welcome the panelists, Dr. Ali Al-Hashmi, General Manager, Infrastructure Planning and Design from Omantel, Sulaiman Al-Ma'shari, Cybersecurity Information Risk Manager from PDO, Mohammed Salim, Business Application Manager from OHI, York, Fish Partner from Diticon, Hussein Al-Maymani, Sales Director at GBM. Welcome. So I would like to start with a question to all panelists. How do you see 5G and emerging technology like 6G transforming Oman digital future? So we start with Dr. Ali Al-Hashmi from Omantel.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That's a good question actually to start with. I will talk about the technology itself where we started the 5G. 5G when we launched it like 2019, it was a big debate. That debate started 2017, I would believe even earlier. Do we really need the 5G? Yes. Because 5G is going to give like a 1 gig throughput, a latency of 5 milliseconds, and then you're going to have a multi of massive connectivity. Exactly. Do you really need?
Yes.
And then it was like a question, most of the use cases is like, oh, broadband, home internet, and this.
Indeed.
So the decision was just to launch. In 2019, we launched. When we launched in 2019, the uptake, I don't want to say thanks to COVID, when COVID came in 2019, boosted the uptake of 5G.
Of course.
Because
we've been trying to push this as an IT.
Correct.
But, yeah.
Because of schooling or online offices, so people locked down. So the uptake of 5G gradually went exponential, I would say.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it was like the area where fiber couldn't be a solution. As you know, the geographical terrain in Oman is very difficult to pull cable left and right, so the wireless solution was the only way. The copper was not really giving the speed. So 5G started booming from that day.
Yes.
And to continue the journey now, we start doing some trials, and we already did some trials from 2023. The trial, we call it 5G Advanced, or 5G or 5.5. So this is like a milestone going to the 6G.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Sulaiman.
Assalamu alaikum wa
Alaikum salam.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
If you can raise your voice or you can bring the microphone in front. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam.
Thank you for having me here. Well, I'm here to cover cybersecurity. So for any technology, definitely it comes with its own risk and challenges. So definitely cybersecurity should be part of any implementations for any emerging technology.
Yes.
Cybersecurity has to be adaptive, has to be scalable, and has to be injected from day one.
Right.
So whatever technology you are moving to for 5G or 6G, cybersecurity has to be embedded from day one.
Great. Mohammed Salim from your side.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Connectivity in general, 5G and beyond, are the main core of the ways of connecting with IoT projects and the use cases of IoT.
Yes.
Which are collecting data from different kind of sensors, different kind of services around the government and around the project itself, which means that it is the backbone of having the data management and the data collection, and based on this, it will help in decision making faster and it will be more reliable.
Exactly, exactly. York, you are from outside, no, you are not from Oman, and we're talking about how we can utilize the 5G technology in Oman context. Do you have something to say in this regard?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me here. See, in Oman, 5G, as your colleague said, it's all over the place. It enables use cases, the flow of data in a very modern way. Yeah?
Right.
And looking forward, 6G is on the horizon in terms of standardization. At the end of the second half of the decade, it will be there, which means the operators, whoever has the use cases now, they can to an extent learn and prepare for the technology to come. If you talk about hyperconnectivity, yeah, that's a keyword these days. We should be reminded that 6G will then also be provided to an extent via satellites, and therefore one can reach regions of the country which are today hard to touch.
Right, thank you. Hussein.
Yes, so basically it's a transformative technology, and it changes the way that data and AI use cases are going to be implemented in. And I'll talk a little bit about the challenges that come with rolling out such initiatives when it comes to AI. So we've classified, based on our experience, the challenges into 4 areas. One is the data and the readiness of data. So to fully harness the power of AI and make use of it, your data needs to be at a certain level of maturity.
Right.
And you can't really have AI without IA, which is information architecture.
Yeah.
Another point of view which also comes up as an opposing challenge
Yes.
is the governance aspect. So, you know, we spoke a lot about data and AI, but how to really govern it, how to base around the trust and the ethical part of AI. The third pillar, which also it was touched upon now, is cybersecurity.
Yeah.
It increases the attack surface.
Indeed.
And it introduces a new attack vector as well. So you know you need to fight fire with fire. And last but not least is the challenge of skill sets around AI. So we need to think about how to meet this gap in terms of the skill sets. When AI was trending, a lot of the predictors thought that AI is going to replace jobs.
Yeah.
We can confidently say that it actually created more jobs than it was replaced. So
Good.
these are the 4 challenges that we see with such transformative technologies.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Ali, back to Oman, and the expectation from the audience and the community as well is to have a proper and solid infrastructure to enable this technology. How preparation at Oman in terms of penetrating this technology in the community?
Okay, that's a good question. Actually, I would say thank you to the TRA as well.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
they are not present, but thank you to them. They're regulating the frequencies. The main challenge is allocation of frequencies.
Yes.
Thanks to TRA and the management from the government perspective.
Yes.
We got a new frequency from the TRA, which is the frequency required for the 6 gig, call it the millimeter wavelength.
Yes.
So millimeter wavelength operating in the 6 gigahertz.
Right.
And it's a very wide range.
Great.
We tested in Oman till we got around 11 gigabits per second.
Really?
Yes.
MashaAllah.
So 11 gigabits per second.
Great.
And we maintain latency, low ultra latency is like 2 to 3 milliseconds.
Great.
When we talk about low latency, for your information, the human being, when you touch a nail or something,
yes,
till this nerve system go to the brain and instruct the foot just to move out from the danger, will take you 8 milliseconds.
Yeah.
So imagine the 5G is faster than the human being nerve system. So we talk to that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But you might say that is not required for the human. That is required for the machines. For example, for the driverless cars.
Yes.
For the driverless car, if you controlling a car from far or machinery or mining, you're going to press a brake or to touch a brake, you need like a split of a seconds to be a reaction from the other side. So from the infrastructure perspective, I think we are a bit advanced.
Great.
More even from the region as well, not only comparing Oman. We are, advanced in the region in terms of preparing ourselves to the 6 gig.
Yes.
In terms of, just to capitalize on my colleagues where the sensors are coming, we tested something called passive IoTs. Passive IoTs. Passive IoTs, one of the IoT's challenges is the battery itself.
Yes.
So when we brought the passive IoTs, you don't need batteries.
I see.
So all of this is really add on top of that. And then there is a new technology called it RedCap.
Yes.
So RedCap basically is called reduced capabilities chipset. For example, you might buy a very expensive CPE or something. It has a Qualcomm chipset or Intel chipset. You're buying a Mercedes, but you're using maybe 10% of it.
Exactly.
So the reduced capabilities will give you an advantage for the battery. One of the good things, maybe most of you using Apple Watch or Apple devices,
yes.
The new Apple Watch will have a RedCap chipset. So your lifespan of the battery in your Apple will be even extended longer.
Great.
Your 5G device, whatever you have, will be extended longer because of the RedCap, reduced capability chipset. We tested in Oman. We test the passive IoTs. We test the massive connectivity per second, per split of a second, how many connections we can have per cell. We got around 1 million to 5 million connections per second per session. So this is the 5G capability.
Great.
And it has more into
Great.
it. So I'm too optimistic that the infrastructure is ready for the future.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate it. Suleiman, with increasing this connectivity and technologies, cyber security threats comes on in the picture. In energy sector, how do you prepare to overcome this and to address these challenges?
Well, I would say this can answer it maybe in two parts. One on the strategy level and one on cybersecurity level.
Yes.
First, you need to have the company buy-in, definitely the management buy-in. You need to have a strong push from the management to have cybersecurity. And as I mentioned before, that cybersecurity has to be injected from day one.
Okay.
It's better that you implement the cybersecurity from beginning rather than waiting later on and patching the issues.
Yes.
On the other side, definitely cybersecurity requires to have a strong GRC in place, governance, risk management, assurance in place. One part which I see other organizations they miss is about compliance and assurance. They have very strong governance, very strong standard in place. They have strong implementations, but they don't have a strong assurance in place.
Right.
So assurance will ensure that whatever you have as a standard, whatever you have from regulation is implemented within the organization.
Yes.
Then going to the other implementations, having continuous monitoring in place, using AI for detections, whatever implementation, threat management, vulnerability management, which is the typical cybersecurity implementations in place.
Yes, yes, great, thank you. Jörg, you are from Detector, from Germany, and from a global perspective, what lesson can Oman learn from leading smart city projects?
See, if you look nowadays in the, say, smart or sometimes they say no cognitive cities on planet Earth which are well advanced, take Shenzhen, take Singapore. I think there are a couple of ingredients, if you want, so which are important. Whatever they have done, even though they are successful, there is no simple copy and paste.
It's not copy and paste. It's something
it's not
different.
Copy and paste.
We have a local context, you mean?
There is always a local context you have to bear in mind.
Yes.
Once a use case or a nice use case or a smart use case is defined, bear in mind the way it's implemented in different parts of the world with different infrastructure under different rules and regulations. This is what I mean with there is no copy and paste. And an important learning is, or say two, the one is, however you engineer the use cases, be reminded at the very end of the day, it has to match the citizens and say the local culture, if you want so.
Exactly.
And the second answer is, I might sound like a broken record, but I keep saying data is the new oil. Be careful where your data comes from and where it stays.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Appreciate it. Mohammed Salim, you are business application manager. And it's always about the data layer and how we can manage data so that we can prove this technology is working and help us to support, make a decision. So what you would like to say in this regard, the data?
The challenge that most of the smart projects is facing is dealing with data as afterthought. So collecting data and think how you can govern it.
Yes.
However, you need to think in a different way. You need to flip it a little bit. You need to ensure that data governance is available within the data from day one.
Right.
So any kind of data streams coming from sensors, services, any kind of these things, you need to govern it properly from day one in order to ensure that the data is reliable and you can build and take a decision actually in the right and the information.
Is this because we have different source of data coming
from different sources in the smart city, and from sensors, from different kind of systems. So
exactly.
You can't build a decision with only one silo of data. You need to ensure that everything is available in one place and govern it properly.
Yes.
And this will be also the base of your AI engine after this. So when you speak about AI, you will have it built on data cleaned by design. So the data is already cleaned from the very beginning, from day one.
Yes.
So your AI engine will be more efficient and more reliable.
Yeah, since all this, the technologies sit on the data layer,
exactly.
So we need to have a proper governance.
Proper governance will help you.
Yes, thank you. Hussein, GBM experience, what are the biggest challenges in rolling out AI initiative at scale, and how are you addressing these challenges?
So we spoke earlier about some of these challenges, but if I want to dig a little bit deeper. So when it comes to data, adding on to my panelist, my colleague, what he mentioned, is that the way we're addressing it is that we're bringing in technologies like IBM to bring in tools for their data warehouse, for the data lake. That's one area. Another area that we're trying to address, which is the governance aspect, We're also leveraging technology like IBM when it comes to governance. So there's a tool which is called watsonx.governance.
Yeah.
The beauty of this tool is that it can run multiple AI engines, and it really puts in the guardrails and handles the governance aspect of the AI. So that's one of the challenges that we're trying to solve. The third is the cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is a big topic. We've developed a program, a cyber defense program that touches multiple pillars when it comes to the users, the OT security in terms of smart cities and so on, for the databases, and it gives you sort of a 360 core and protection to your infrastructure and data as well. The fourth pillar, which we mentioned, is the people and the development. So at GBM, we've came up with a program that helps onboard fresh graduates from universities in such technologies like AI.
Great.
And we train them and we develop them over a year in this discipline. We expose them to real case projects, real AI use cases, and so on. And that's how GBM is trying to address all these challenges.
Great, thank you, appreciate it. I like the fourth pillar, it's the people. So would you like to say, Dr. Ali and Sulaiman, how we can address the human part in this technology and moving forward to this escalation of technology?
Yeah, okay, the first thing is the mindset. We need to change people's mindset. That if you stay at a state where you're gonna stick there for long.
Yes.
So don't be rigid, you need to be agile.
Yeah.
Especially in the era of ICT. So in Oman till now, we are even enhance our own capabilities within the organization.
Yes.
We brought like innovation lab, Oman till Innovation Lab. So start with the ideas within the staff to come up with ideas, and then start from the idea all the way to the product. We start incubating even the external people as well.
Yes.
So even we start giving lectures.
Great.
Being, for example, I'm a general network designer, I have to go and give lectures maybe once a week to the newcomers.
Who are the
beginners.
audience, for students or?
Could be even Omantel staff themselves.
Omantel staff.
Omantel staff.
All right.
Students, incubators with new ideas,
Yes.
how to enhance them, how to guide them, all the way from the ideation, all the way, I would say, to the product.
Great,
Yeah.
great. Sulaiman, people side?
I think it's well covered here, but we have the same in video as well. But I noticed that on-job training is more beneficial for the staff.
Yes.
Yeah, instead of going for training, but on-job training is more beneficial. PDO is a university, so the more we train our people, the better. But keep in mind, there are some niche area, like for example, the IoT, the OT areas. These are still a niche area, not only in Oman, even on a global level.
Yeah.
So definitely we have to change the people culture, to keep people thinking about cybersecurity, especially in the OT environment. When it comes to the IT security, majority is done within IT department.
Right.
But the OT is scattered. We have operation teams, engineering teams, so changing their mentality, their thinking, their culture is a bit tricky way that we have to handle.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Let's talk about the public-private partnership. And since our colleagues from the private sector as well would like to hear how the public-private partnership accelerates Oman's journey towards becoming smart and sustainable nation. Mohammed Salim, Hussein, York as well. The partnership between public and private sector to push this forward.
I think, and based what we see out there, that's really a key ingredient, yeah? Where we have to move away from thinking. It's like that old build, operate, transfer.
Yeah.
Because we get, in terms of investment, in terms of infrastructure, very different life cycles together, which we have to orchestrate, yeah?
Right.
And as, say, smart cities, cognitive cities, and whoever else that go along these lines, it comes with learnings and it comes with iterations, yeah?
Indeed.
Some of the infrastructure built, it doesn't take a couple of months. The reality is it takes years. And if you look into it from an investment perspective, if you think like this, you even look into decades.
Yes.
So I think public-private partnership, this is a commitment from both parties to go together, not only on the short and the midterm, long term.
Exactly, to accelerate these technologies in the community. Muhammad Salim?
Yeah,
Thank you.
if you are talking about public-private partnership as a financial model, we can think about providing a lot of IoT solutions that help in the same ecosystem of the same infrastructure through, of course, using the network, either 5G or beyond, in order to ensure that all work on the same ecosystem. If you are talking about public-private partnership as just how both can work together and solve such problems, so definitely, as private sector, we can bring the niche of technology into the market, and we can also have, for example, in OCHI, we have a training center that we can train people on the latest kind of technology, and we can enable expertise in different kind of domains, in different kind of technologies, and we have in our cluster a lot of other companies that are focused in not only software or or hardware, network software, hardware, AI, and so on. So working with the government on building a proper compliance and ecosystem will help both of us work together.
Thank you. Hussein.
Yes, Sultan. So it's a very good question. I truly believe this partnership is key to progress and accelerate Oman's transformation journey. And it's because mainly the public sector will set the vision, and then the private sector, through local or international global expertise, they will work hand in hand with the public sector to execute successfully. You have many examples and programs on a national-wide level. For example, I'll name one, which is Cisco's CDA, Country Digital Acceleration, where they pick one pain point and they work together with the government, hand in hand, on solving a pain point that will have a transformative and big impact on a national level. Another area where this partnership brings a lot of value is early engagement.
Yes, exactly.
We've noticed more often than not that a lot of the times the planning stage in the public sector, the brainstorming, the planning, and setting, the roadmap happens solely within the public sector. But I strongly believe, if we're involved even in the planning stage, I think this would even bring a greater impact with this partnership.
Indeed, thank you, appreciate it. So before we close this session, one last question. If you had to name one priority action only for Oman to take in the next 5 years to lead connectivity and smart infrastructure, what would it be? One action point for Oman.
Starting from me?
Yes, because you are owning the infrastructure in Oman.
Yeah, sure. I would say our vision is to be like Oman orchestrator of the digital ecosystem.
Right.
So we would like to be the orchestrator, because we somehow, as you said, the infrastructure is important.
Yes.
And we will continue to be that with the aim of new technologies like satellite communication combined with a terrestrial communication, to cover a wider area, not to leave behind any business, any community without communication.
Yes, great. Thank you. Sulaiman?
Well, from cybersecurity, definitely a mandated cybersecurity framework with the regular assessments done by the authorities. It should not be left for the companies to do the implementations without cybersecurity. So definitely having a framework at the national level is very much needed.
Great, thank you. Appreciate it. Muhammad Salim.
Having an integrated and intelligent infrastructure with a proper framework that can ensure all of these kind of smart projects not work in isolation, not work in silos, work into the same framework that can ensure data shared, and the benefits of that kind of smart project are shared within the network of projects.
Great.
This is, I think,
so we talk about infrastructure, cybersecurity, governance framework. York, would you like to add something in this context?
Between all of kind of domains, ensuring that all are on the same level.
Right, thank you. York?
Maybe 2 points to add, not only one. One is that from a law and governance perspective, to make clear how data is dealt with. See, to write a law is one thing, to implement it is not that simple. And that shouldn't be underestimated. And the other point, this was mentioned, I think, but I repeat, invest early enough in the next generation, because they have to be qualified, they have to take over and to deal with and to continue with that,
Yeah, thank you. Hussein?
So, Sultan, if I had to pick one priority, it would be people. I think people are the greatest assets that we have. The youth of today will be the leaders of tomorrow, so investment in people would be the one priority that I would pick to. Yes.
Totally agree. So in order to wrap up this panel discussion, the future of connectivity, it's really necessary for the community. And it's not about technology, it's about people. And it's about how we live and how we connect. And of course, governance, cybersecurity, infrastructure as well, all together comes into this picture to push Oman efforts into Oman Vision 2040. Thank you for your contribution. I really appreciate your presence here. Thank you for the audience as well. Shukran. Thank you. Shukran.
So just to go back to digital transformation, of course, digital transformation is no longer optional. It's a foundation of competitiveness, resilience, and sustainable growth. From government and finance to logistics, healthcare and education, technology is reshaping how we live and work. Artificial intelligence, cloud, data, and cybersecurity are no longer for future possibilities. They are today's reality. Here in Oman, guided by Vision 2040, we are building a strong digital economy that empowers citizens, businesses, and government institutions. Collaboration between the public and the private sector is driving progress in digital trade, e-services, and smart infrastructure. This forum is an opportunity to accelerate that journey. It's a platform to share knowledge and to gain knowledge and to exchange best practices and form new partnerships that will help shape the region's digital future. I encourage you to engage, connect, and make the most of the discussions ahead, because transformation is not only about technology, it's about people, culture, and the courage to embrace change. Once again, welcome back to the Digital Transformation Forum at COMEX. We appreciate having you back after this short break. So for now, from my side, I wish you all an inspiring and productive day. I'm just waiting for the audience to come back so that we can resume the session.
Across the Gulf, a transformation is taking place. Governments and institutions are making bold changes, reforming their economies to prepare for a future beyond oil. From renewable energy to fintech, sovereign funds and private investors are driving this new wave of growth. In Oman, this transformation is more subtle, but no less significant. Over the past decade, the country has moved steadily away from its reliance on hydrocarbons. Now, a new economic vision is taking shape, built on emerging industries, powered increasingly by private capital and cross-border investment, and guided by long-term resilience. And at the heart of it, OMInvest is helping lead the way. Oman's economy is evolving with purpose and precision. New sectors are taking root, like tourism, logistics, mining, fisheries and green hydrogen, all aligned with Oman Vision 2040, the Sultanate's ambitious roadmap for national development. This transformation is backed by strong policy foundations. Plans like the 5-year strategy and the medium-term fiscal plan have restored balance to public finances. In just a few years, public debt has dropped sharply, from nearly 70% of GDP to under 34% today. That fiscal discipline has paid off. Oman has regained its investment-grade status and attracted record levels of foreign investment. Now those resources are being redirected towards priorities such as modern infrastructure, private sector growth, and job creation. Across the Gulf, investment institutions are adapting. Many once focused solely on their home markets. Today, they're taking on a wider, more strategic role. At OMInvest, we remain deeply committed to Oman, but we are also looking outward. We're investing across the region, particularly in high-growth markets like Saudi Arabia and the UAE. The investment mindset is changing. There's a growing focus on sustainability, governance, and innovation. Institutions are no longer just managing assets, they are shaping industries. It is about being an active force in regional development, not just silent participants. As the Gulf's economies mature, even deeper regional connectivity is happening. Financial hubs like Dubai offer access to capital, talent, and global networks. Omani firms, including Ominvest, are now stepping into this space. We're expanding our reach, building partnerships across borders, and investing in platforms that link markets together. Today's priorities are finance, insurance, and technology, and the approach is clear. Blend regional opportunity with global standards. Oman and its neighbours are navigating a fast-changing world. And as the region transforms, so does the role of capital. By aligning investments with both long-term trends and government priorities, institutions are leading the way in shaping a more diversified, connected, and resilient Gulf economy.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back after the short break. Hope you're all feeling refreshed and awake for our upcoming sessions. We would like to begin with a case study. It's called Innovation Meets Heritage, the Digital Transformation Journey of the Royal Court Affairs. And it's being presented by Mr. Sultan Al-Waddahi from the Royal Court Affairs. Please, let's give him a warm welcome to the stage.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. حياكم الله، وإن شاء الله بنقدم لكم في 20 دقيقة ملخص عن رحلة التحول الرقمي في شؤون البلاط السلطاني. طبعا الرحلة تتضمن كثير من المشاريع والمبادرات والأعمال، وإن شاء الله اللي يعني يتطلع إلى مزيد من التفاصيل بالإمكان يزورنا في المبنى. احنا في مبنى الغبرة موجودين، يشوف التجربة على أرض الواقع، ويشوف كذلك كثير من المشاريع، ويشوف حتى الفيديوهات. احنا اليوم ما نقدر نشغل فيديوهات بالمناسبة، كله خبرونا فقط شرايح. كذلك يلتقي بفريق العمل اللي حقق هذا التقدم للمؤسسة. فإن شاء الله نستفيد كلنا اليوم من هذا اللقاء الطيب معاكم. ونبدأ الآن بالعرض المرئي. طبعا نتطلع إلى يعني وصولنا إلى نموذج ريادي في التحول الرقمي من خلال تجربتنا في شؤون البلاط السلطاني. التجربة مثل ما تشوفوها، هذه لوحة واحدة تشرح جميع الأعمال والمبادرات والمشاريع في رحلة التحول الرقمي اللي تضمنت 4 محاور أساسية. ركزنا على محور التنظيم، ركزنا على محور بناء القدرات، على محور الأنظمة، ومحور البنية التقنية. فكان التحول الرقمي ما كان فقط عبارة عن أنظمة وتقنيات، إنما حتى بناء القدرات وتعزيز الكفاءات، وكذلك إحداث تنظيم واتباع منهجيات وممارسات كان مهم بالنسبة لنا. المنهجية التحول الرقمي اللي تبعناها، طبعاً حددنا الاحتياجات المؤسسية في البداية، وحددنا كذلك الفوائد المؤسسية اللي نتوقع نجنيها من هذا الانتقال. عارفين احنا الوضع الآن عندنا تحديات معينة، وعارفين وجهتنا وين، وعارفين ما هي الفوائد اللي بنجنيها. فبالتالي وضعنا هذه الخطوات كمنهجية نتبعها، وبدأنا من تحليل أعمال، أنتجنا نموذج التشغيل الأعمال وهو البزنس اوبريتنج موديل. بعدين حسسنا في الإجراءات، وعملنا التصميم والتطوير، وبعدين دخلنا في التدريب والتطبيق، وكل هذا من خلال أنشطة إدارة التغيير وإدارة المشاريع. نتبع كذلك احنا الفاليو تشين، سلسلة القيمة. فدائما عمليات التحول الرقمي تحتاج انك تنظر للمؤسسة نظرة مختلفة، ما نظرة الهيكل المؤسسي التنظيمي، انما نظرة كيف انت تتعامل مع هذه القطاعات، من هي القطاعات الرئيسية، ما هي القطاعات الداعمة، وكيف ممكن تجمع بينهم في هذا الجانب. فاتبعنا كونسبت جديد أو مفهوم جديد اسمه الفاليو تشين، سلسلة القيمة. كذلك عملنا على تحسين إجراءات العمل وتبسيطها في مستوى كل قطاعات الأعمال، القطاع المالي، القطاع المورد البشري، النقليات والتموين، وكل القطاعات الأخرى. هذه يعطي نظرة سريعة على البزنس اوبريتنج موديل، هو نموذج التشغيل الأعمال. طبعا هذه تعتبر يعني لوحة واحدة، خلينا نقول نظرة شمولية للمؤسسة وكيفية عملنا داخل المؤسسة من خلال جمع قطاعات الأعمال في هذه اللوحة، وبالتالي نعرف الترابط بين قطاعات الأعمال، نعرف ما هي فرص التحسين، ما هي التحديات الموجودة، وين الازدواجية موجودة، وبالتالي ممكن نتفاداها أثناء تطبيق الأنظمة. هذا النموذج التشغيل الأعمال ساعدنا في عمل الألاينمنت، التوافق المؤسسي. كذلك عملنا يعني ساعدنا في إحداث قناعات لدى أصحاب المصلحة، لأنه الجميع يتطلع لهذا التحول الرقمي، ولكن يتطلع من زاويته أو من قطاعه، بس ما يشوف المؤسسة بالشكل الكامل. فهذه النظرة ساعدتنا ننقل مستوى الفكر إلى فكر مؤسسي. كذلك نتبع منهجيات في إدارة التغيير، اللي هي منهجية أذكار، واللي تبتدئ بعملية الأويرنس اللي هو نشر الوعي، بعدين الديزاير إشعال الرغبة في أصحاب المصلحة وفي المستخدمين لهذا التغيير القادم، ومن ثم تزويدهم بالمعرفة النولج وتمكينهم بهذه المعرفة، ومن ثم تعزيز هذا التغيير. فكذلك فيما يتعلق بإدارة عمليات التحول الرقمي نتبع منهجيات، ولدينا فريق معتمد في إدارة التغيير. وأنشطة فريق إدارة التغيير طبعاً هو يعمل مجموعة من الأعمال، مثل خطة إدارة التواصل، خطة إدارة المقاومة، تحليل لأصحاب المصلحة، وخطة التدريب. وكذلك نهتم بالجانب البشري من ناحية طمأنة وتمكين المستخدمين ونقلهم بشكل تدريجي لهذا التغيير القادم. طبعاً هناك يعني إنجازات حصلنا عليها خلال هذه الرحلة. احنا بدأنا هذه الرحلة في 2017 بالمناسبة، تقريباً 9 سنوات احنا شغالين في مشاريع التحول الرقمي. حصلنا على جائزة المبتكر العالمي المتميز من المعهد العالمي للابتكار، حصلنا على جائزة الأداء الرقمي المتميز من وزارة النقل والاتصالات، حصلنا على شهادة في التحسين المستمر Continuous Improvement، اللي هي يعني اهتمامنا في مجال التحسين المستمر. نتبع كذلك إطار البنية المعمارية، عملنا تغييرات كثيرة في الهيكل التنظيمي، نتبع منهجيات، نتبع أطر عمل في هذا الجانب. فهذه ملخص لإنجازات مستوى التنظيم. فريق العمل طبعاً اللي ساهم في هذه الرحلة مجموعة كبيرة من قطاعات الأعمال ومن تقنية المعلومات، والحمد لله وصلوا الآن لمراحل متقدمة، وهم الآن عندهم مؤهلات ومعتمدين في مجالات معرفية مختلفة. فعندنا الآن ناس سيرتيفايد في البزنس بروسيس مانجمنت، في التشينج مانجمنت، في البروجكت مانجمنت، في الانتربرايز اركيتكتشر، في الاي اف كيو ام، يعني مجالات معرفية مختلفة. الفريق وصل لمراحل متقدمة. وكذلك عندنا فريق اسمه فريق المدربين أو سفراء التحول الرقمي، وهذا الفريق ساعد المؤسسة على إحداث هذا التغيير والتحول الرقمي، ومساعدة المستخدمين وقطاعات الأعمال في تقبل المبادرات الرقمية وتمكينهم بالمهارات الأساسية في تقنية المعلومات. طبعاً في فيديوهات كثيرة، بس للأسف ما نقدر نشغل كل شيء هنا، حاولت ألخص، لكن اللي مهتم يعرف تفاصيل ممكن يزورنا، وإن شاء الله بيشوف التجربة وبيعيشها معانا على أرض الواقع. بالنسبة للأنظمة طبعاً احنا دشنا كذلك مبادرات كثيرة، حسنا في الموقع الداخلي، أطلقنا منصة داخلية سوشيال ميديا اسمها منصة حوار، وهي قريبة من الفيسبوك وتويتر، بحيث الموظف يشعر بأريحية في يعني المشاركة بآرائه ومقترحاته. وكذلك الموقع الداخلي، وعندنا نظام إدارة الوثائق والمحفوظات، ومشروع منصة الأعمال والخدمات الرقمية اللي احنا نسميه ال ERP Enterprise Resource Planning، واللي هو يعتبر مشروع استراتيجي. فمن ناحية الأنظمة عملنا حراك وإنجازات كثيرة في هذا الجانب. كذلك في إنجازات البنية التقنية عندنا كثير من المؤشرات، رفعنا من كفاءة البريد الإلكتروني، رفعنا من سرعة تثبيت أنظمة التشغيل، المزودات الافتراضية، النسخ الاحتياطي، كل مكونات البنية الأساسية تم الاعتناء فيها وتم تحقيق فيها تقدم في هذا الجانب. دشنا مشروع مركز البيانات، كذلك هذا يعتبر نقلة نوعية لشؤون البلاط السلطاني. عندنا مركز بيانات بمواصفات عالمية تير 3، وحصلنا فيه على شهادة من المركز العالمي لمراكز البيانات، وهذه طبعا مراحل بنائه وبالصور تشوفوها. عندنا كذلك مركز الرصد والاستجابة، وعندنا مركز إدارة عمليات التشغيلية للشبكات لمتابعة الترافيك اللي يصير والهجمات وكل هذه الأمور. يعني في عندنا اهتمام خاص بهذا الجانب. هذا نبذة من مشاريع الشبكات. كذلك وزعنا كثير أو غيرنا كثير من الموزعات الشبكية. هذه هي جائزة الإيجاد الرقمية. بعد هذا الجهد 8 سنوات، رحلة من العطاء، رحلة من المثابرة لفريق العمل. يعني حصلنا على جائزة استثنائية من وزارة النقل والاتصالات وتقنية المعلومات قبل سنة في 2024، وهي جائزة التميز في الأداء الرقمي. وكذلك حصلنا على جائزة المبتكر العالمي المتميز من المعهد العالمي للابتكار، لأنه هذه الرحلة يعني ساهمت في إيجاد ابتكارات وأفكار ومبادرات جديدة قلما نحصلها في المؤسسات الحكومية، وبالتالي أنا أدعو للاستفادة منها في هذا الجانب. وفي نهاية الأمر نقول التحول الرقمي، وكثير منكم عارفين هو عبارة عن رحلة تغيير مستمرة وتطور مستمر. أنت تزرع البذرة وترويها وتسقيها وتبعدها عن الرياح والعواصف، التحديات اللي تيجي، على أساس توصل في نهاية الدرب لجني الثمار والوصول إلى مراحل متقدمة من الأداء المؤسسي وتحسين الخدمات. وبهذا أختم هذا العرض المرئي الملخص، وإن شاء الله اللي عنده يعني اهتمامات يطلع على تفاصيل كثيرة ممكن ينسق معنا يشوف التجربة على أرض الواقع، وإن شاء الله هناك بيشوف فريق العمل، بيشوف الفيديوهات وبيقدر يستشعر التجربة. والبعض طبعا زارنا، بدوا مؤسسات تزورنا في هذا الجانب، فالدعوة مفتوحة وشكرا لكم وبارك الله فيكم. إذا عندكم أسئلة أو استفسارات أعتقد ممكن 5 دقائق أو ممكن حتى يعني في البريك.
أستاذي، هل دمجتوا الاي اي او اي شيء يخص الاي اي بالاي ار بي اللي عندكم؟
نعم، الاي ار بي احنا على وشك نخلصه. عندنا نطاق عمل يعني لقطاع المنشآت السلطانية بعد 5 أشهر، وبالتالي يكتمل الاي ار بي كفاونديشن أرضية للاي اي، الانترنت اوف ثينجز، كل التقنيات بتيجي الادوات. يعني همنا في البداية انه نحط أرضية صلبة للبيانات من خلال الاي ار بي وتوحيد الممارسات وإحداث هذا التغيير، ومن ثم استقطاب التقنيات الحديثة والأدوات نركبها بتكون easy to plug and play إن شاء الله.
إن شاء الله، الله يوفقكم. والإحصائيات اللي شفتها قبل شوي، هل هذه تعتبر إحصائيات يعني من السنة اللي فاتت؟
نعم، هي معظمها من 2 تقريبا، لأنه هي الجرني بدت من 2017. وعندنا بالمناسبة فريق اسمه Benefit Realization Management، فريق إدارة تحقيق الفوائد. هذا شغلته يسعى لتتبع المشاريع ويرصد الفوائد ويضمن تحقيقها على أرض الواقع بعد الانتقال بالضبط، لأنه فيها استثمارات، فنريد نضمن من تحقيق عوائد الاستثمار. فهذا فريق اسمه Benefit Realization Management.
أشكرك.
هو معتمد certified في الكي بي ايز، في السيكس سيجما، في الكونتينيوس امبروفمنت، فهذه لغته كذا.
بالضبط، لان انا اول ما شفت السكس سيجما فكرت في اللين مانجمنت.
اكزاكتلي، واللين كذلك.
بالضبط.
يعني الفرق اللي عندنا كل فريق يتكلم بلغته، فريق اداره المشاريع، فريق اداره التغيير، اجراءات العمل، فريق اداره تحقيق الفوائد، كل واحد في مجاله وكلهم يتناغموا لتحقيق هذا الانجاز.
الله يوفقكم.
الله يسلمك. حد عنده استفسار؟
إذا حد عنده استفسار أنا ممكن أعطيكم المايك،
أو ممكن حتى نترك الاستفسار هنا. شكرا جزيلا وبارك الله فيكم، أحسنتم. شكرا.
وشكرا جزيلا لك.
شكرا.
Welcome back to our next session. Just to confirm before we continue with Mr. Jamal Attai. But before we do that, we just need to reiterate the importance of digital transformation. In today's rapidly evolving world, technology is no longer a choice. It is the necessity. Nations that embrace digital transformation are shaping the future of economies, societies, and governance. For Oman, this transformation is not just about adopting technology. It's about unlocking human potential, enabling creativity, and diversifying the economy beyond oil dependencies. Oman's vision of 2040 is a blueprint of the Sultanate's future. It sets out ambitious goals, building a competitive economy, fostering innovation, and creating a knowledge-based society. Digital transformation is a key enabler in realizing these aspirations. From e-governance platforms that have been seen in the panels previously that make public services more efficient, to smart cities that improve qualities of life, and from digital infrastructure that empowers industries to artificial intelligence and data analytics, driving smarter decision-making, technology, and becoming the backbone for Oman's future. So the key pillars of transformation are divided into a few sectors, with the first being digital infrastructure. Oman has invested heavily in high-speed connectivity. The 5G deployment that was previously seen by Dr. and the national data centers, these are not just investments in technology, but in the foundation of global digital economy. And the second pillar, becoming the e-government and the smart services that we have also previously seen in the past 2 days. Through initiatives like Invest Easy, Bayan Customs, e-visa platforms, and many other things that are streamlined currently for us, where Oman is streamlining these services for citizens, residents, and businesses alike. This reflects the vision of 2040's goal of building a transparent, efficient government. Well, the third pillar being the innovation and knowledge economy. Universities, research centers, and incubators are nurturing local talent to become innovators, coders, and entrepreneurs. The growth of Oman's startup ecosystem is creating a central hub of new jobs for the industry. With the fourth pillar being the human capital development. At the core of Vision 2040 is the Omani citizen. Upskilling, digital literacy, and STEM education are vital to ensuring that every young Omani individual can thrive in the future digital economy. With part 4, the fourth pillar, being the real-world applications that we are also going to see and currently seeing in these initiatives that are made. The first part will be in the healthcare system, or the healthcare in general, where there's telemedicine, electronic health records, and AI-enabled diagnostics. Education being the second part, e-learning platforms, digital classrooms that has been seen that were rising during the COVID days and currently ongoing, and blended learning. The third being energy, smart grids and AI-powered sustainability solutions, while the fourth is logistics and ports. Automation and blockchain are making Oman a regional trade hub. Each of these reflects the vision's goal of harnessing technology to diversifying and strengthening Oman's economy. The fifth pillar is the global positioning. Oman is strategically positioned at the crossroads of Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. With digital transformation, it's not only strengthening its internal resilience, but also positioning itself as a regional leader in digital trade, logistics, and innovation. The part 6, or the sixth pillar, being the human element. And this is something that you cannot see in the digital age or in the AI. But let's not forget, digital transformation is not just about machines. It's not about replacing people either. It's about empowering people with better tools. The current booth that you see out here at COMEX 2025, these are efforts that show how humans are capable of using machines, of how humans are capable of adopting these machines, the codes, to actually generate something that's tangible for our economy and to showcase Oman on a global scale. It's about empowering people with different, better tools. It's about giving Omani youth opportunities to innovate, women the chance to lead in new industries, and entrepreneurs the platform to scale their visions globally. So for the next session, we're going to be welcoming you back all from the break. Please welcome Mr. Jamal Al-Ta'i, Business Director at SOR LNG, to speak on adopting digital technologies in the LNG industry. Welcome, Mr. Jamal.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Very good evening to everybody. I'm here today to talk about adopting digital technologies in LNG industry. But I thought I'd start by talking about this evolution we're experiencing. It's an evolution where it is going at a pace that I think no other humankind has seen. And AI is becoming a catalyst of this evolution. ChatGPT was introduced to us in public in November of 2022, but it started off as an idea in 2015, 10 years ago. It was co-founded by Sam Altman and Elon Musk and other business leaders. And 7 years down the road, they introduced something called ChatGPT, and everybody it became a buzz, and everybody started using it. And you see that there are more of these AI chatbots, AI platforms that are spiraling out and becoming a catalyst in this evolution that we're experiencing. Who would have thought I could type in this topic that I'm going to present today, and it would give me an answer? I researched this, and spot on, this is what we're experiencing today in an industry that I'm working at. My presentation will be about the journey that we're experiencing. I'll give you live examples of the technology on the ground in our facilities, and you can then comprehend that the evolution that is happening. We only started thinking of digital transformation in 3-4 years back. I started in Oman LNG back in 1998. We were working in silos. The processes were all manual. A few years down the road, we started automating. We automated the processes. We introduced something called advanced process control, which is known in the hydrocarbon industry. We applied K2 platforms. And there's more that had happened over the course of the last 10-15 years in the area of automation. And now, 3-4 years, we're into this evolution of digital transformation. We're adopting Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, and there's a lot of data, terabytes of data that we're trying to make use of. Is that the end? Our aim is to become an intelligent enterprise, where things become automated and we become a data-driven organization. Oman LNG today, as I said, we're transforming. We're in this digital transformation. Our diamond is not yet a diamond. it's still in its raw form. I'll give you some elements of the technologies we're adopting. You've heard the buzzword of digital twin. In the automotive industry, Google Maps is the digital twin of the old school maps that we've been opening. And it's transformed the way cars are operated today. Volvo, for example, have adopted Google Maps in the car. When you drive, it will tell you that you're at the speed limit. And it will not allow you to exceed the speed limit unless you willingly want to do that. We are adopting a digital twin of our facility, and I'll show you an example of the digital twin that we have in Oman LNG. Virtual and augmented reality. My 11-year-old son is super excited of augmented reality. I never thought we would have adopted it at workplace, but we are, and I've got examples of it. 3D printing was just a gimmick. Today, we are printing parts for some of the equipment that we have at our facilities. Artificial intelligence, as I said, I think this is the catalyst. This is going to boost the transformation significantly. Some of my colleagues doesn't issue a document unless he's got Copilot on his back or ChatGPT with him. So there's lots of ways of how you could adopt artificial intelligence. We've adopted it in our processes to make more money, and there is a good return on investment. And of course, robotic process automations. Why do you do things that are routine when you can automate, and automate very intelligently, that it doesn't comprehend to you that issuing a salary for staff now goes through automation. But it is happening today in Oman LNG. Digital twin, what's the promise in a hydrocarbon facility? Obviously, improved asset management, enhanced operational efficiency, more decisive decision making, and of course, increased safety, which is crucial in our line of business. We've started on the journey of digital twin. We've laser scanned our facilities. We've modeled our facilities. Today, we are mapping terabytes of data into this model. And the reason being, we want to make use of the model as much as possible. And we have made use of the model. This is just a snapshot of our digital twin. It's a video. If I may ask the colleagues to turn it on. This is sitting on a 1 million acre facility. There is thousands, if not millions, of pipelines, thousands of equipment, thousands of instruments that is today modeled on a model like this. And the opportunities are numerous. The examples of use cases that we could apply on a digital twin like this is phenomenal. Virtual and augmented reality. Today, if you were to come to Oman LNG, your safety training will be going through a virtual training, a VR headset. You would be wearing one to go through that training. We've adopted it on maintenance. Augmented reality is being used now to teach people how to carry out maintenance. This gentleman here is learning how to overhaul a relief valve using augmented reality. And this is a very critical equipment. making any mistakes could mean an explosion at our facilities. 3D printing, we approached 3D printing with caution. We didn't want to do 3D printing just because it was something new in the industry. We treaded with this carefully because safety is crucial in our line of business. But we've come up with a digital warehouse today. We have parts that are being constructed after they've been modeled on a 3D. And we end up with parts that we are installing on our facilities. As I mentioned, artificial intelligence is something that will bring in a lot of dollars in businesses, and we're seeing it. We've adopted it on a very small scale. We've applied it on above our advanced process control systems, which is an automation of how we operate our facilities. And it has managed to optimize the way we operate. And on a small scale, we see a return on investment of roughly $500,000 a year, which is unheard of. That you do something, an optimizer that just does machine learning and through artificial intelligence tells you how to operate. It's just like your Google Maps. It tells you when there's a traffic, why don't you change routes? And you're going to get there quicker. This is just one way of looking at it. We looked at it in the means of increasing production. You could look at it in the means of becoming more efficient when you don't have gas. Or you could be operating in a different mode, just like the different modes that you have in your cars now. You could go in sport mode, you can go in eco mode, you can go in quiet mode. These modes work through artificial intelligence. It gimmicks and gives you that feel in the car. Robotic process automation, we've partnered with an Omani company and we've adopted 21 use cases. I give you an example. My salary last month was done in a matter of minutes. My colleagues in HR and finance used to spend days. They would run a machine overnight to make sure that the 700 staff would get their salaries by the next day. Today, it's done within minutes. What is the aspiration? Obviously, we need to turn this graphite into a diamond and become an intelligent enterprise. All the examples that I gave you are working on silos. We're still as if we're in our raw form. The way to transform is to become integrated. Integrating these solutions means that we are taking the best of all worlds. And that's how we become data-driven, we become efficient, and we can then enhance our operations to the next level. And we think this is it, but I'm sure beyond the diamond there will be something else. Probably not in my time, but time will tell. Thank you very much. I'll be still behind for the next half an hour or so, so I'll be happy to take any questions later. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jamal Al-Ta'i, for that insightful presentation. Moving on, we're pleased to welcome Hussein Al-Masqati, Head of Customer Engineering Public Sector at Google Cloud Security, to discuss data security, digital resilience, and the future of cloud for digital Oman. Please let's give him a warm welcome to the stage.
Just to play this back. No. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Real pleasure to be here today, so thank you for having me. My name is Hussein. I work as I manage the technical team responsible for cybersecurity at Google, and it's a real pleasure to be here with you today. So I'll be talking to you about data security, resilience, and the future of cloud, which is a good topic for 7 p.m., but we'll get through it. So let's actually talk about something a little different for starters. Threats, and specifically cyber threats. So the threat landscape at a global level is constantly shifting. Organizations are constantly under cyber attacks. These things are happening on a continuous basis, and there doesn't seem to be any slowdown. And we're seeing it happen across many sectors, I would say. We're seeing it primarily the financial sector, but also government, healthcare, businesses. Sometimes it's espionage for political reasons, but a lot of the time it's financially motivated. They want to lock your systems and then be able to ask you to pay some sort of ransom. And generally, we've seen a consistent increase in cyber attacks. So in 2022, we've seen something like 40% of increase in global cyber attacks. And also 100 sort of zero-day, 25 discovered in the wild just by Google, but we've seen at least 100 zero-day incidents happen in 2022. And from then, actually, it has gone up. And the reality is, cyber teams need to get it right all the time, because getting attacked and actually having the attack, let's say, penetrate the system, steal information, steal vital business information, it's actually quite damaging. So when you have a cyber team in the organization, and when you actually set up your infrastructure, it needs to be able to protect your environment all the time. But the reality is, for an attacker, they need to get it right only once, because they need to be able to get in only once. And they try all sorts of things these days. And it's also gotten very complex when you're ever talking about digital environments, because you need to be able to protect employees, people, users, you name it. There's so much diversity in what you need to protect. And at the same time, the complexity keeps increasing. And so I think probably I've established that, yes, there's a lot of cyber attacks happening, and we need to be able to do something about it. Google itself has actually got it wrong in the past. Back in 2009, there was a major incident that happened with many tech companies as well. It was called sort of the Aurora cyber attack. And we actually disclosed it. It changed quite a bit our philosophy and the way we do things, from how we build software and actually how we built our data centers and design our digital infrastructure. It changed things from the ground up. And it also helped us sort of, or incentivized us to invest in cybersecurity, to the point that since then, since the incident happened, we've actually acquired a few companies that helped us sort of, let's say, strengthen our cybersecurity position, and at the same time, developed a few moonshot projects that ended up becoming products that developed cybersecurity products. So why are we talking so much about security? Well, the thing is, whenever you're looking at digital infrastructure, one of the main requirements, and probably the number one requirement, is for security. If you're going to go use cloud, and use cloud somewhere else, that is, let's say, not in your own server room, not managed by you or by the IT team of your organization, the number one ask is, it needs to be secure. So this is why I'm focusing on security from that perspective. And we'll be talking a little bit about how do we actually secure these digital infrastructures. So essentially, when we actually look at security, if you look at how things are today, we generally have, what is the general pattern? We've sort of built a fortress around our organization. This is a very classical way of doing cybersecurity, or doing security in general, which I build a perimeter, And as long as nothing can penetrate that perimeter, I don't focus on security in the organization from an IT perspective. I don't secure the servers, I don't secure communication between them, you name it. Also, our security team's quite overwhelmed because data is increasing and logs are increasing. This is how things are today. And there's always an attitude that, okay, when we get an incident, we'll figure out how to handle it. Not, hey, let's actually try to know what to do when an incident happens, sort of have a plan. And there's also the thought process where it's not that they start with security from an architecture point of view. Security is sort of just an add-on. Okay, well, after we've designed everything, how do we add security on top? And passwords and APIs hinder securities because they create so many user issues in terms of using the right passwords. Are you securing API access or system access? That sort of thing. So the reality is, security for tomorrow is we need to build zero trust around our data and apps. We need to use AI to automate. We need to know what to do when an incident happens, have a plan. And at the same time, when you build your architecture, build it with security in mind from the ground up. And have seamless authentication and authorization for your systems. So when you actually look at fundamentals from our point of view, how do we build our data centers? How do we build our systems, our services? We usually look at these three areas. Protection, which is really how do you secure infrastructure? Control, how do you actually provide security controls to help meet policy and regulation? And then finally, compliance, which is really working to meet any responsibilities and compliance areas for our customers. So let's start with protection, which is really about securing core infrastructure and designing and building and operating in a way that actually prevents threats. So how are you protecting your system? Remember, I told you, like, the old model was, hey, let's just build a perimeter around it. Kind of like how we have castles in Oman. That's like the traditional way. Let's build one wall around it, and no one can get through that wall. But the reality is, these days, because of the sophistication of attacks, people do get through those walls. So what do you do then? A lot of what we do in terms of how we protect our assets, it's really built around one core principle. And it has only two words. Can anyone guess? Trust nothing. And this is where zero trust, if you've heard of it before, comes from, actually. So what's zero trust? Essentially, it's no implicit trust. Basically, there's no trusted boundary in any system from an infrastructure point of view. And when it comes to actually any kinds of access, you always do authentication and authorization. And finally, when it comes to protecting networks and segments, network locations are no longer sort of core components. That's a very traditional way of doing things. So let's look at zero trust and how we actually do zero trust at Google. For a typical, let's say, infrastructure setup, you have your hardware infrastructure, your services, storage, communication, operation, and identity. And the reality is you look at each layer and actually think about how do I secure each layer with the assumption that the other layers are compromised. So you secure each layer independently. And this is the core of what zero trust design is. So from a hardware perspective, you're looking at the hardware level. How do you secure the different things at the hardware level independently? And then from a storage perspective, how do you actually secure at storage with things like encryption at rest by default? Sorry. And then you look at operational and device security, and identity and service deployment. So let's go through an example. From a hardware perspective, this is sort of what Google does. We have our Titan chip, which is a Google's purpose-built chip to establish hardware root of trust at the machine level, which results in, and we embed that everywhere. So we have purpose-built chips, purpose-built servers, purpose-built storage, and purpose-built network and data centers, which is really reduces the risk at each of those layers. And then if you actually look at it in more of a hardware perspective, even at the boot level, you're looking at the BIOS. This is a typical way how a computer boots. At each stage, we're hardening it and having a security embedded within each layer. And finally, when you're talking about things of data, encryption, encryption, encryption at every level, entrapment and in storage. And we even do something where we do sharding of data, where if you have a piece of data, we break it up into pieces, encrypt the pieces independently, and actually store them in different places. Why? To protect against offline attacks, and also to protect the integrity of the data across these different elements. So the moral of all of this is it's really about securing independent elements such that if one side is compromised, it actually, the other elements are still protected. Let's talk a bit about control. So essentially, security controls help you meet policy, regulation, and business objectives. And when we're talking about security controls, there's a lot of different areas. You can talk about identity and access management, which is things like authorization and authentication. Authentication is figuring out if this person is who they say they are. And you have to actually add that at all the different layers. Anytime a resource needs to be accessed, you authenticate. And then authorization is another layer where you decide if that user actually has the right to access what they're trying to access. When it comes to network security, you're looking beyond the physical network security that most industries are used to. You're looking at basically creating security boundaries, encryption during transit, and then things like security posture, threat intel, and detection response, which we'll dive in a little bit deeper to. So when we look at security detection and response, there's generally two areas. The first area is threat intelligence. Threat intelligence essentially tells you what kind of attacks happen there, what kind of threats exist, what kind of techniques do attackers use to attack you. And that threat intelligence you use to actually be able to detect if an attack happens, and it helps you actually also determine how to respond to it. Because the reality of today is you cannot assume that attacks will never happen or will never be successful. They will always happen, and sometimes they will be successful. And this is what we've been doing at Google with Google Threat Intelligence, which is really providing frontline expertise, frontline intelligence, learning from what's happening in the market, learning from many of our products, which have billions of users using them, to actually be able to keep you safe. You know, when you're using Chrome, and sometimes it tells you, oh, don't enter this website, it's not safe. That's threat intelligence in place. It recognized the URL or something about the website, and it's telling you this website's not safe because it recognized something using threat intelligence. You know, when you're using Gmail and it tells you an attachment is not safe, same thing, that's threat intelligence. It figured out something from the file that it might not be safe, and it's telling you that's not safe. And this is actually brings us to security operations, which is really about taking that threat intelligence and having a proper sort of SOC, to actually operate and stop any kinds of attacks that might be happening. And as it says, intelligent-driven outcomes while using AI to actually make it more productive and efficient. And the reality is, it's really about being able to detect that an attack is happening, investigate it, and then respond to it. Finally, this is sort of the last thing to talk about. It's compliance. Compliance is a very complicated thing, I would say. It's really about being able to meet regulations and providing the right transparency in terms of what you're doing. And this is something modern cloud providers do actually provide, where it helps you, provides the tools and controls for you to meet your compliance responsibilities, and at the same time provides visibility into what's happening in the cloud environment. So that's something we've been doing very actively at Google for our customers. So we're sort of at the end of the talk, but what I wanted to kind of summarize is security is at the core of cloud, and a lot of the time we see it as one of the main barriers for entry to cloud for many organizations. But the reality is, if security is done right, if the cloud provider is doing security right, then it is actually at a much optimal, let's say, solution or decision or approach for your organization. Thank you.
A big thank you to Mr. Hussein for bringing a forward-looking perspective on security and resilience. Now we are following on to our next fireside chat. We close the conversation with a fireside chat that says, reimagining connectivity, building the next generation digital ecosystem, featuring Malik Al-Waili, Senior Proficient Strategy of Digital Innovation from Omantel, and Falk Schroeder, Managing Partner at DETCON, Germany. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving them a loud and warm applause.
Okay, it's ready? Yeah, good evening, everybody. My name is Christian Dietze. I am working as a partner with DETCON. DETCON is the consulting division of Deutsche Telekom, the leading German and European telecommunications provider. So very happy to be here at COMEX and speak to Mr. Malik from Omantel.
Thank you, DETCON. Just a bit introduction about myself. My name is Malik Al-Waili. I am part of the innovation and strategy team at Omantel. We are focusing mainly on the strategy of new technology and emerging technology.
So, Mr. Malik, when we are looking at the global developments in the telecommunications market, we see that many of the leading telecommunications providers, they are currently transferring from a telco to a techco. And I would like to learn more about the vision of Omantel and where you currently stand in this journey in terms of transforming from a telco to a techco.
Well, Omantel have been realized that in the early stages. And we've been planning now for the past 5 years to convert from a telecom company to a technology company. And the main goal for Omantel, it is to be the technology powerhouse in Oman. We have tried to achieve that in certain strategic move. which is internally and externally. One of the main moves is to strengthen our 5G and fiber optic network in Oman. You cannot realize the efficiency of application and the foster of application in Oman unless we have a strong backbone, which is, we are reaching now 92% of the 5G network in Oman. We have more than 16,000 kilometers of fiber optic in Oman. That's in the backbone side of moving to a technology company. In the business side, we think to move from a connectivity to a technology company by providing a technology through, for example, cloud computing, providing cloud as infrastructure, providing AI applications. We invest on the smart cities, providing IoT technology. Another pillar is to partnership with main providers like Google, Meta, and provide a hyperscaler infrastructure within Oman, providing the trust that already Omantel have in the market. Partnership with the big scalers provide us with a trust and be an orchestrator for all these technologies in Oman. We are also fostering the SMEs side of Oman by creating what we call it an accelerator or innovation lab. That help us to work with the SMEs to co-create products that never been existed. And our involvement started maybe just from accelerating to even partnership with those SMEs. So all those pillars, it helped us really to shift fast to be a technology company. And we would like to see the perspective of people thinking from a telecom company to a technology company and to be the leader in the market.
Thank you very much. I think you have very, very ambitious plans. Now I would like to understand, because we agree it's a huge transformation you are undergoing, how do you make sure that during this transformation, the daily business is not interrupted?
Yeah. So we follow, in that regard, two main approaches. How we make innovation and stability at the same time, by treating both of them as complementing each other. So now in Omantel we have two arms. The arm that focusing on innovation, where people have the flexibility to experiment anything and co-create with the partners, with SMEs, new innovative products. The other way is to provide the tools where we keep and govern the current product and services and make it stable. And we do that by speeding up the digitalization within Omantel. Now we have a real-time monitoring tools. That real-time monitoring, it gets us the insight from the market and reflect fast to the needs to adjust the current product to be stable and be up to the customer expectation. So we are working in two arms in that side.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, during this transformation, of course, you are identifying different trends, and you always have to make sure that you have the right skills and talent in your teams, in your organization. So how does Omantel make sure to always educate and train your employees inside the organization?
Yeah. For a start, we realized that the culture is an important factor to change from a telecom to a technology company. And you have to work on your culture where you bring their understanding of the technology in a way that everybody in Omantel, they start the dialogue in the same level of understanding. We create many things. One of them, we create what we call it AI Academy. And there is 2 tracks on that AI Academy that help the people in the, what would you call it, leadership track, where we convert our leaders to be more enabled with AI leader mindset to make an AI-driven decisions. And the other track is the professional track. You cannot build capabilities on the digital and AI capabilities without having the skill set within the company, technically especially. Because you need people to write your business requirement, you need people to validate your investment in the market. Those kind of things, we already have it through a professional track within HR, which we call it AI Academy. This is one of the things. We also help on changing from what we call it the KPIs. Before it was only isolated KPIs per unit. We convert that to what we call it OKRs, where teams from cross-functional of the Omantel, they share one KPI and based on products. By that, we foster that creating team of teams within the organization. You cannot work on a technology company with the same speed and rhythm of telecom company. The technology is faster and it's happening within 1 year. You find a lot of things in 1 year. If you cannot have the same speed and the agility and resistance to the market, then you cannot cope up with the products that have been produced. So how you test it? That's why you have to change to what we call it agile framework within the company. All of these have really strengthened the organization in terms of more resistance to the change in the market.
You have mentioned one very interesting thing, and I'm well aware of that. Omantel has its own innovation lab, innovation ecosystem. So could you please elaborate a little bit more on how your innovation ecosystem is set up and how your partnering strategy looks like to come up with the best innovations and best ideas for Omantel?
Yeah, well, there is like 3 main pillars you can define in terms of innovation. You have the process and what kind of process to govern and foster the innovation. You have to provide the tools and the systems that allow innovations. And you have to have the policies that innovation is a must and a change is equal opportunities. All of these, we try to integrate it within the Omantel organization. So in the innovation lab, we change from only creating telecom services to a partnership concept. And the meaning of partnership that you work with the provider or the SMEs on a concept to co-create and share the business and share the risk with the partner, instead of just buy and sell concept. Buy and sell concept is no more available in the market where people just buy services and get access to your market. You have to foster the innovation, and that comes by partnership with the SMEs, partnership with the hyperscalers, because you cannot in-source all the capabilities that is in the market to be in your Omantel. You have to outsource it because it's always changing. And you have to have that concept within your organization. You cannot in-source all your capabilities. We foster innovation by, in the terms of operation, we create what we call it Center of Excellence. This Center of Excellence is in 2 parts. One of them is to speed up the AI and innovation by implementing and governing it, removing redundancies, creating a cost-effective way. And what we call it, the other one is the AI Studio, which is like a sandbox where Omantel team can explore new innovative ways. It also can be sold as a services. So if somebody outside Omantel wants to have a capabilities within Omantel from, for example, AWS, or even from our own capabilities, then he can come to that sandbox and try all those capabilities. Giving them that kind of nature, it allowed them to freely experiment new things within the market and create products that never been created before. Can I give you one example, like the voting? The voting in Oman, last year, it happens through digital process. And it was the first in the world. And that happens because the capability of co-creation of a product. So Oman, till they use their connectivity, another team work on the security aspect, and another team work on the process itself. So more than 3 companies work to create one product. That's the concept that now is acceptable by the market.
Okay, sounds really good. So you have many partners you're working with on innovations. I have now one question regarding the intellectual property you're developing. So how do you make sure that the intellectual property you develop for new products, services, how is this protected in this innovation ecosystem?
In the IB side, we are in the early stages. So just this year, we start experimenting the process of IB and how can protect the products or the innovative products that we have now. We are partnering with Stanford currently. This year only start collaboration with Stanford University. We are partnering with Microsoft and OpenAI in order to help to co-create and protect IBs and create a process around them. We are still in the early stages of the IB side. We don't want to start by creating boundaries in terms of innovation. If you create boundaries before, then you are limited people to a box. So what you need to open it and then slowly control it with IBs, policies around it. That's why how you foster innovation. But if you create boundaries, then you are limited the mind of people from innovating.
I fully agree with this. Now, you also elaborated a little bit before on the topic of AI, and this is very relevant for all companies, not only telecommunications providers. Would be interesting to understand, did you as Omantel already identify some really relevant use cases where AI can be used either internally or customer facing? And then if you look at these use cases you might have looked at, did you already do like an AI readiness assessment to make sure you have the right capabilities, tools in the organization to realize those use cases?
Yeah. Well, looking at AI as the nature now, most of the solutions that in the market is focusing on efficiency and velocity. And there is no currently an AI solution that's really addressing a complete system that exists in the market. Given that perspective, we have to look at what differentiated factors in Omantel that can provide in the AI aspect rather than people going directly, for example, to Microsoft or to Google to have a partnership with them directly. We are providing what we call it trust infrastructure. So we make sure all the AI applications that we are developed or partnered with OpenAI or with Google to be in the nation. And we also having our own security and our own data. So the differentiator factor in the AI, we are planning to have an AI capability with Omantel flavors in terms of our understanding to the market, our data and availability in Oman, the value-added services from Omantel, what we call it ABI market, for example, OMB, cloud and hyperscaler capabilities. All those values now becoming part of Omantel. What we need the customer to focus on is in their own core competence. That's all. So he don't have to worry about the payment, the supply chain. He don't have to worry about the clouding, the operating system, the support. He only have to worry about his business idea. The other things we will provide it in one box as an ecosystem. What gives us the advantage is we can grow faster than anybody. And you can get the latest with a fraction of the price instead if you go directly to the main provider. So that's our internal strategy in terms of AI capabilities in Oman.
Mr. Malik, really very nice to have this conversation. I wish you good luck with your transformation journey. I really like this conversation. I also would like to mention that, of course, Omantel and Deticon, we have our own booth here at COMEX. So if you would like to visit us and if you have any questions, please come to us. We would more than welcome to host you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
This concludes the Digital Transformation and Infrastructure of the Future Forum. Our thanks to all our speakers, participants, and honored guests. A friendly reminder that we're having a dinner within 25 minutes. So if you're going to be sticking around, we'll be having you for dinner here.